Hello and welcome to another fun episode of the Flagstaff County Podcast. I'm your host, Cary Castagna, Communications Coordinator for Flagstaff County. And playing the bagpipes to start this episode off is my special guest, Ian Malcolm of the Flagstaff Scottish Club. Welcome, Ian.
Oh, thanks, Cary. It's really interesting. It's fun so far to be here. Thank you.
Just wait.
Okay.
Now, that's the first time anyone has ever played the bagpipes in the Flagstaff County Administration Building. And if I can use a Scottish saying, it was pure dead brilliant.
There you go. Right from Scotland. Right on, Cary.
You're listening to the official podcast of Flagstaff County. Now, today we're going to be talking all about the 16th annual Robbie Burns Night, which is happening Saturday, January 27th at the Killam Community Hall. This is being billed as the premier Robbie Burns event in Alberta. But before we get to that, who's Robbie Burns? I mean, I realize he's a celebrated Scottish poet, but what else can you tell me about him?
Well, I'll give you a little bit that I know about him, Cary. First of all, I'll tell you that he was born in Scotland on January 25th, 1759. And it's a good, easy year to remember because that's the same year that the Guinness Brewery in Ireland started brewing their famous beer. So that's easy to remember that year. Anyway, he was born in Scotland. He was a sickly kid, from what I've read. Wasn't the most healthiest guy, but he was well educated, well taught, and he had a real gift for verse. And what he would do is he started writing poems at an early age, inspired by anything he saw around him. And through his life, if any young man can write poetry and recite poetry, yeah. I think the ladies would certainly enjoy listening to that. So,
for sure.
As it was, he has quite a reputation of being a ladies' man. For that, and a very good reason for it. He had a number of careers, a few that I can think of. He started out as a farmer, didn't work because of his illnesses as a young lad. I know he spent some time being an excise man, so doing the taxes for the government. And I do know that Robbie Burns was a mason as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's, there's a lot more to his life than that. He wrote thousands and thousands of poems and lyrics to songs. And of course, in the late 1700s, the Scots were emigrating all over the world. And so this is, I think, one of the reasons that Robbie Burns became so worldwide famous. It was because of this. And so to this day, every country in this world celebrates the 25th of January as the Robbie Burns Day.
Oh, okay. How long did he live?
He died July 21st, 1796. So a relatively young man he died. So due to all the ailments that he had.
All right. Sounds like a pretty cool guy, though. So what does Robbie Burns Night entail? What's on the schedule for January 27th?
Okay. Robbie Burns, our night that we're having this year on Saturday the 27th, this will be our 16th Burns supper that we've been putting on. And basically we follow the Burns itinerary. Like I was saying earlier there, the whole world is celebrating Burns Night by putting on this dinner. And there is actually an official Burns dinner itinerary that most of them will follow. And we follow it loosely, and I'm going to use that word loosely. But what ends up happening is our doors will open at 4:30, and come on in, and there'll be some bagpiping going on, some solos, some duets, a few with the band, and a few surprises too. She'll be working on some good stuff that will really be interesting. So come on in. What we're going to be having is dinner. Dinner consists of course, haggis. Number one, you've got to have haggis.
Got to have haggis.
Hey, no kidding. And then for the people that are a little squeamish about haggis, there, of course, is prime rib. We have prime rib, and of course, there's neeps and tatties, which is Scots Gaelic for turnips and potatoes.
Oh, did you want to mention who donated those?
Sure, absolutely I would. We've been very fortunate with our community here, all in this Flagstaff area of families and companies getting involved and helping out with the night and helping us to raise a bit of money for our goals. So the the turnips are being donated this year by Mel and Jim Hampshire here of Sedgwick. The potatoes are coming from Jane Odegaard, who grew them herself, amazing girl in that regard. And the prime rib is being helped out by a lot of people in the area, a lot of farmers, and there's a whole bunch of people that have donated to help us buy the prime rib. And the haggis, of course, is being donated this year by Roebuck Oilfield Service, I think they're called. Anyway, it's Bob Stedman and Gloria Zarski are looking after the haggis this year.
Okay.
Purchasing the haggis. We buy it from a place in Edmonton.
Okay. And one more item, a tipsy, how do you say that?
Tipsy Laird?
Tipsy Laird trifle.
Right. It's a trifle. Of course, it'll be something to make you tipsy in it. So there may be something in it that makes you tipsy.
And that's made by. Is that made by Karen?
I think Karen's going to make that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I read. It was going to be made by Karen Robinson.
Yep, that's my Karen. Yeah.
All right. And do you want to talk about what else is going to be happening? I see the Bonnie Knees contest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So also at the dinner there, we've got for entertainment. Let's go back to the dinner. What's going on? We have to follow the itinerary. We have toasts. So we're going to be having some people do a toast. One toast to the laddies, and another person doing toast to the lassies. Then we'll also have what we call a toast to Robbie Burns. And then we'll have some poetry, one of Burns' poems recited as well at the function. Also, we're going to have the Ratte string quartet play fabulous players on the violins and a cello, and they're going to be playing some nice dinner music while you all enjoy your dinner. And as it stands, that quartet, as well as a few other of the Rattes family, have joined our bagpipers and drummers now.
Oh, awesome!
So they're gonna put on a real special tune for us on that night. You'll really want to see that for sure. Hear them play on the pipes as well. Yeah, and then so as the night progresses, we have a great reverse bingo prize this year. It's looking lots of fun. What we're going to do with that, and then of course the silent auction to help raise some funds for the band and the club. And you're talking earlier there about the Bonnie Knees contest. We've been doing that ever since we've started. It's a lot of fun. Any men, you can wear in a kilt or not, doesn't matter. But what we get you to do is get you to stand on a chair. We put you in an arch, stand you on a chair at the front by the stage, and then we blindfold a pretty lass.
Okay.
She comes by and feels everybody's knees. So the men wearing trousers can roll their pants up so she can feel the knees, and she goes through and picks her favorite set of knees, and they win a prize.
So what's the criteria?
Well, you just have to be a man.
And you just
have to stand on the chair and let some nice lassie feel your knees.
She just has to like your knees.
Yeah, you got to come up with a trick that she's going to pick your knees. All right. There's all sorts of tricks out there.
Anything that you do in particular?
No, my son, I think he's won that Bonnie Knees about 4 times now. And he says he divulged his trick was he says he flexes his knees, muscles in his knees when she comes by to feel his knees. Nice. And there's other people who say, "Oh, what you got to do is you got to put some lotion on them first and that kind of thing." So it's you have your trick, what you think might work. So good
All
on
right.
you.
So what else do we have? We have whiskey tasting.
Right. Okay. We have what we have. We have a. We have a table there. A lot of times, your people that aren't sure about whiskey yet, and whiskeys are starting to become pretty expensive. And so what we're doing is we'll put some decent whiskeys out there. We put 6 out, and from the different regions of Scotland. And this year we've got a whiskey, a really nice Canadian whiskey brewed like they do in Scotland. Comes out of Eau Claire in Turner Valley, Eau Claire Distillery in Turner Valley, and they have this fabulous one that's not Scotch because it's not it's not distilled in Scotland. But it's going to be on the table as well this year. But it's there. Get a sample of the different regions. It's a good way to find out if it's a whiskey that you might want to spend some money on, up to $200 or so on a bottle of whiskey. So it's a good way to try it and see what you think. So for a minimal price, it's worth a try. You'll spend $10 for a good sample of whiskey, but you may not want to spend $200. I'm not sure what you're getting.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
We have a nice and some experts up there that know their experts may be a bit extreme, but knowledgeable people on the whiskeys that are going to be on display on Saturday, the 27th.
All right. And then at 9 o'clock, we have Frayed Knot.
Right. Frayed Knot. They're a fabulous Celtic rock band out of Calgary. We've been dealing with them for a long time. They are extremely talented bunch of guys that, play... a lot of those cool Irish Newfoundland type of songs, right?
Yeah.
As well as a mix of old rock and some new stuff as well. And they're really engaging. They're a ton of fun. In fact, last year, the accordion player in the band, Danny, they all wear kilts, of course, to get right into the spirit of things. And Danny won the Bonnie Knees contest last year.
Nice.
So we were going to have to knock him off that crown off of his head this year, that's for sure. But they get right involved. They're just a fabulous bunch of guys for dancing too.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so that covers the lineup for the evening. Now, you didn't bring any whiskey, so we can't do a whiskey tasting right now. But you do have a Robbie Burns poem. Would you care to recite it just like you would at Robbie Burns Night?
I'll give it a try. Also, Cary, I'm going to back you up here a little bit. When you say, I don't have any whiskey, you'll find out that every piper always carries whiskey with them.
Oh, you do have whiskey?
Oh, I always have whiskey with me. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe we should do a whiskey tasting.
Maybe
not.
Us pipers, we call that tuning fluid.
Oh,
It
okay.
makes us sound a little bit better.
Oh, so it's always on you.
Always, yeah. We can always have a drink. That's for sure.
Okay. I just assumed I didn't see it, so.
I know, that's right. Anyway, a poem. I'd be more than happy to. I have a poem that I really like, and it's an interesting poem. It's not too long. A lot of Burns poems can be quite long. To a louse, tam o'shanter, to a mouse. They can all be quite long, but this one's not too bad. And I'll do my best and trying to say it in that Scottish language. It'll make it a little bit interesting. All right, it's called John Barleycorn.
John Barleycorn.
Yep, and it was written by Robert Burns in 1782.
All right.
Okay. There was 3 kings into the east, 3 kings both great and high, and they hae swollen a solemn oath John Barleycorn should die. They took a plough and ploughed him down, put clods upon his head, and then they hae swollen a solemn oath John Barleycorn was dead. By the cheerful spring came kindly on, and showers began to fall. John Barleycorn got up again, and sore surprised them all. The sultry suns of summer came, and he grew thick and strong, his head well armed with pointed spears, that no one should him wrong. The sober autumn entered mild, when he grew wan and pale. His bended joints and drooping head showed he began to fail. His colour sickened more and more, he faded into age, and then his enemies began to show their deadly rage. They ta'e a weapon long and sharp, and cut him by the knee, then tied him fast upon a cart, like a rogue for forgery. They laid him down upon his back, cajoled him full sore, then hung him up before the storm, and turned him o'er and o'er. They filled up a darksome pit with water to the brim. They heaved in John Barleycorn, then let him sink or swim. They laid him out upon the floor to work him farther woe, and still as signs of life appeared, they tossed him to and fro. They wasted o'er a scorching flame the marrow of his bones, but a miller used him worst of all, for he crushed him between two stones. And they have ta'e his very heart's blood, and drank it round and round, and still the more and more they drank, their joy did more abound. John Barleycorn was a hero bold, of noble enterprise, for if you but taste his blood, 'twill make your courage rise. 'Twill make a man forget his woe, 'twill heighten all his joy. 'Twill make the widow's heart to sing, though the tear were in her eye. Then let us toast John Barleycorn, each man a glass in hand, and may his great prosperity ne'er fail in old Scotland.
Oh, wow. That was a violent one, eh?
Yeah, when you're talking about the barley to make whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Were you aware of that? That's
No.
what that's all about. It's just about a grain of barley, and that's what they make good old Scotch whiskey out of.
Oh, wow.
So that's what it's, if you think back to it there. So it's,
okay. I totally missed that.
Exactly. And that's why I was told maybe you should just explain that to make sure everybody realize you didn't kill John Barleycorn.
Yeah,
Well,
I was thinking poor John.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's just the seed was in the ground, and the rains came, and the sun came, and he grew, and he had a big beard, the big beard on him. And as this autumn came, he started to droop over, and then they cut him down with the scythe, right?
Oh, okay.
So they cut the grain down, and then what they do to make whiskey is you take it to the mill, you dry it, you roll it over and over and over again, and then we put water on it so it starts to sprout. That's when all the sugars come back out of it. That's what you need to make the whiskey, and then they distill this whiskey, and that's talking about the drink. We drink his blood.
And
crushing. The miller crushes the grain. That's correct, to make the mash.
Yeah.
To make the mash. So it's all of that. That whole poem is all about the lowly barley grain that gets turned into Scotch whiskey.
Oh, that's very creative then.
It's really good.
Yeah, it shows what I know, but I mean, it was it shows why he was such a celebrated celebrated poet.
Yeah, and I believe that he would just come up with this stuff. I know the prayer for the dinner prayer for a Burns supper he just came up with, and I also believe that the address to the haggis that's always recited at the beginning of a Burns evening was the same thing. I think what I understand, he just was told, could you do the address to address the haggis, and he came up with this.
Oh, wow.
Amazing piece of work, yeah. There is one other thing I wanted to tell you too, Cary, about Robbie Burns. I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think you can tell me what the number one song that is sung over the world? What do you think the song that's sung the most around the world?
Oh, like other than Happy Birthday?
It's Happy Birthday.
Oh, Happy Birthday.
Happy Birthday is...
Because I was thinking of the New Year's song too.
Okay, that's where I'm going with this.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So Happy Birthday is the number one the song sung the most in the world. And I was going to ask you, do you know what the second most song that is sung in the world is?
So it's Old Lang Syne.
Old Lang Syne. And those are the Robbie Burns lyrics. He
Oh, wow.
wrote the lyrics to Old Lang Syne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go. So we all know who Robbie Burns is because we sing it every New Year's.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm learning a lot today. So, yeah, that was, no, but thanks for doing that. That was a great recitation. Is that a word?
Sounds good to me. Yeah, there's some words in there that are tay and hey, we and stuff that you gotta be able to. It kind of flows into it, but that's old Scots language.
Yeah, very well done.
Thanks.
So this is the 16th annual Robbie Burns Night. Has it really been 16 years already?
Yeah. Well, Karen and I, when we moved here in 2007, we've been going to Burns dinners down when we came from Cochrane. So we've been going to Burns suppers, and we'd actually seen Frayed Knot down there at one of those Burns suppers too.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, when we got here, you're looking around chatting with people, and there was tons of Scots in the phone book at that time, right?
Yeah.
Holy man, there's lots of Scots, and so what we decided to do is we're with the Legion when they're still at the hall there. So we just put on a Burns supper one night, and Doug Brown, from Forestburg, he was with a Legion member, and he was the piper. So he was the only real piper around here. And then one of our another piper that we'd see periodically was David Sam, and he lives in Camrose. So anyway, Doug would be our piper for that very first Burns dinner, and it was a great success. We raised money at that time, I think, for the spray park.
Oh, okay.
Because there was nothing going on. We just wanted to put on a Burns dinner and have some fun. And we did have some fun. And so that's where it all started. And it just grew. People really embraced it and kept coming and coming and coming. And more people we had lots of fun, of course, with that Bonnie Niece thing. People got to stay to see that. It's hilarious. Just a ton of fun. And then so it got bigger and bigger, and we had to leave the Legion. Got too many people, and because we wanted to come, so we had to move to the the Sedgwick Community Hall.
Oh, okay.
And we were there for a few years, and we're just it was a great venue for it too, just the right size for the people that were coming. Then one year well before Christmas, we had already had the capacity, so we had to move, and so the next closest, biggest place we're in Killam, and so we had to go to the Killam Hall where we could get another 100 or so people in there. And so we feel that's it. We, if more and more people want to come, but I think it loses its personality or its, that closeness that you get in
intimacy.
Intimacy. That's the word. Thanks, Cary. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And so that's as big as it's going to get. We just like it that way. A number of people, great people that we get such support from our everybody around here and away as well. So we want to keep it going, and it's a real fun night, something to do after Christmas and New Year's. We're ready to do something again. Mm-hmm. So come on out and hear some good piping, some good poetry, lots of fun things going on. You
guys know how to have fun.
I like to think so anyway. But you know what? People bring the fun with them, though.
Yeah,
I think,
for
right?
sure.
People come and everybody's got a smile on their face, and people bring the fun with them. And I think maybe that's what makes it a success. People come with the right attitude to have fun.
But I did notice that while most of your events are family friendly, Robbie Burns Night is not intended for attendees under the age of 13.
Yeah, you could come, but it's loud. The bagpipes are loud. There's lots of, with the Scotch tasting there and the bar open and that kind of thing. We feel it maybe not the best place environment for somebody small. All right, That's why we put on that gathering of the clans in the summertime. That's completely family oriented,
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We in that summer event we have all the animals, petting zoos, and demonstrations. So that's the family thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why we feel that maybe 13 you can kind of you wouldn't be offended by the noise and
Yeah.
the activity that's going on.
Yeah, it's just a different atmosphere.
It is quite a different atmosphere, yeah.
Okay, and also worth noting, this is a big fundraiser for the Battle River Pipes and Drums. Can you talk a little bit more about the Battle River Pipes and Drums and how you're raising funds?
Okay, sure. Well, I was talking earlier about Doug Brown being our only piper, and Dave would show up every now and again, mostly for Remembrance Days around here, right? And then what would happen, some friends, got to know a couple of young lads from Medicine Hat that were friends of the family, and so they were pipers, and they would come up, and so we, at one point, I think we had 4 pipers there, near the beginning. So anyway, what happened was, I'll try and make it brief. I used to dabble with the guitar, and I chopped my middle finger off on my left hand. And so I couldn't play the guitar anymore. So I said, you know what? I talked to one of my young friends out of Medicine Hat, and I said, do you think I could play the bagpipes? He said, sure, no problem at all. You don't use the tips of your fingers anyway. You use the second pad down. So I took up the bagpipes, and then Karen and I were talking. I said, well, if I can take them on, maybe there's other people around that might be interested in learning the bagpipes too.
Yeah.
And Doug was willing to give us a hand to get us going, and I was getting to be a little bit better piper, and sure enough, that first we put the call out, anybody interested in learning bagpipes? I think we had 24 people show up one night to be introduced into the bagpipes. And so they, of course, like anything, a few of them have more priorities other than being able to commit to learning the bagpipes. But we ended up with, probably 7 that stayed and learned the bagpipes and are still with us today.
Huh.
And since then, we've probably got, and we got a great lead drummer there in Hobie Campbell out of Hardisty. Yeah. And he's a fabulous drummer. He was one of our early Burns, he was the drummer for one of the bands we'd hired to play the dance during the evening. So Hobie's with us, and he's just a fabulous drummer too.
And he's got nice bony knees.
Yeah, he's a fit guy, Hobie. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't won yet. Yeah, Doug's won and I've won. But so the band really, we got it going pretty much about 2018 is that we were starting to have enough tunes that we could actually get going out there.
Just before the pandemic, really.
Basically, yeah. We started to do a couple of parades. There were a few of us that were ready to do a few parades in town, and the people started to come out of the woodwork, and we've had people join. We still have a couple. The Rotte family I was talking about earlier, 4 of them are playing the bagpipes. And 2 of them are playing snare drums, and one is taking up the tenor drum. So they've been a fabulous addition. So if we get everybody together, we would have about 20 capable musicians in the Battle River Pipes and Drums.
Wow.
Yeah. And we want to be a mark in the community. If anybody needs a piper or pipers, we'll do everything we can to accommodate anything that's going on. All right, and we want to play it, get as many Remembrance Day ceremonies covered with a piper, and we did this year, and it was. I think it really helps, adds to somebody's gone to the trouble to put on a ceremony, a Remembrance Day ceremony. I think it really helps, adds something to the circumstance of the day.
Yeah. And okay, you mentioned as far as the fundraising, you did mention the silent auction, the reverse bingo, the whiskey tasting. I think that about covers it, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's how we raise money, and donations by all these fabulous people in this area. Just really want it to continue. They're doing everything they can by donating money, donating prizes. It really helps us. And where this money goes, Cary, it's like anything. We're a band, so we're constantly needing instruction to be a better band playing together. So we're always looking to hire. We have 2 big instructional weekends where we hire bagpiping teachers, drumming teachers to come, and we have a whole intense weekend of practice, so we have to pay for those folks.
Yeah.
We also have uniforms that everybody has to have, and then of course any upkeep on them. The same thing with the equipment. We've got drums and heads and bagpipes and reeds and these equipment, and then the maintenance of all these equipment that we require money for too. So, and just to continue to put on functions, we also need money, like to pay for these the band like Frayed Knot and things like that.
Yeah.
To put things on, it costs money.
Yeah, that's up.
To rent halls in town, rent equipment.
Yeah.
There is one other thing I wanted to mention too about Burns Night. You had a good friend of ours on here recently, Tom Lechak.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Tom is a fabulous professional sound guy. And we are so lucky to have Tom come and do our sound for us at the hall. He does it at our Gathering of the Clans as well, and then he also plays. His band also plays at our Gathering of the Clans.
Yeah,
just a fabulous guy, fabulous group of people. There's that River Jacks and Tom Lechak there.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, fabulous.
All right, another point for those attending their first Robbie Burns Night. What should they wear?
Oh, good. I think, you know what, not everybody has a kilt, and not everybody's Scottish, and you don't have to be to come to this thing. It's a fun thing. I think basically what you need is just to have a shower and come on down,
well,
have
that
a
makes
shower,
sense,
come on down. And
that's easy enough.
And come to bring that fun attitude with you and come to have some fun. Just get nice and clean.
And that's a good point you mentioned. You don't have to be Scottish. I mean, it's a great community event.
Sure is, yeah. Maybe we'll say you'll be Scottish for that night. How about that?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, it's got nothing to do with being Scottish or liking haggis or anything like that. It's a real fun night, and to support a real great cause that we want to continue in this Flagstaff area.
Oh yeah, it's great for Flagstaff. So due to the limited capacity of the Killam Community Hall, tickets will only be sold in advance, and sales will end on Monday, January 22nd at 11:50 p.m., just before midnight. So speaking of that, how are ticket sales going?
That's correct, Cary. Yeah, and the reason we have to have a cutoff date because we need to know again what for the people preparing the meal.
Oh yeah.
We need to know how what has to be purchased for that night.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what was the question again?
How are ticket sales going?
Ticket sales. Yeah, sorry. Good. Actually, we're really happy with how things are going this year. I think people this year are not afraid this year. Let's get out to do something. I think that's what they're trying to do. Last year was a little slow. I think people were a little gun shy first time after COVID.
Yeah.
But this year, ticket sales, we're looking at probably roughly about two-thirds of the tickets are sold already.
Oh, that's
great. And we'll have
great.
enough room for 272. We got seating for 272.
Okay, and you probably sell a few tickets this last week or two. Eh?
Yeah. A lot of them were purchased before Christmas. And I think they bought them for Christmas presents.
Oh, okay.
Buy a table, invite the friends, and
yeah,
I think it was a nice Christmas gift. And they're going every day. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right. So now let's talk a little bit about the Flagstaff Scottish Club. When was the club established?
Well,
and are you one of the founders?
Yeah. Karen, like I said, when we first came here in 2007, we put on our first Burns dinner in 2008. And at that time, there was a wonderful woman named Rosemary Imlaw. She was born in Inverness, Scotland, and her family, her kids Grant Imlaw and his wife Lynette, and their three kids live in town here, or from the area anyway. So anyway, we got chatting one time about organizing, and Rosemary was a real push in this, in getting this club going. She's an older woman, but fit and healthy and eager, and she was the one that's coming up with a lot of good ideas. And Karen and I wanted to see this push it as well. So we did, and with Grant and Lynette, we really pushed this thing. And our first Burns was 2008, and we just it seemed to be rolling. People wanted to be involved. We started the band and said, you know what, we should probably get this club, get a club going. And sure enough, we did. And in 2019, we became a not-for-profit society registered with the province of Alberta.
Okay. And I'm just curious what your Scottish background is.
Okay. My 4 grandparents came from Scotland. And I don't know too much about the grandmothers, of course, right? But I do. One of my grandfathers came from Kilmarnock, Scotland, and the other grandfather came from Lawrencekirk, Scotland, and we've got that family traced back to 1777.
Oh, wow.
So that's how. And so I just was, and I was real proud of the one grandfather. Well, both of them, of course, I was.
Yeah.
But one was wounded twice in World War One. So he was one I would have known the best, and just there's a pride in that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why my real strong motivation is that.
What is the mission of the Scottish Club?
Well, our mission, we do have a mission, and that is to promote Scottish customs, culture, and values in the Flagstaff region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it seems like it's really taken off in the last few years. Probably especially with the addition of the Battle River pipes and drums. I mean, everybody knows them.
Yeah. Well, we try to get to all the parades in the Flagstaff area, we try to get to. The problem that we have here is that we have, like I was saying, we have a piper in Camrose. We even have a piper in Lloydminster and a bass drummer that come down periodically. So, but they don't come down regularly. But Wainwright, we've got some people. Irma, Hardesty, Janice is in Veteran. She comes periodically. So people have to travel a long way to put this band together. So we reciprocate by playing in all these other places.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we're getting out there, and we try to hit all the parades. I just played at a funeral service here. Again, if you think somebody'd like a piper for any reason. Birthdays, weddings, funerals, anything, and parades. We'll do our best to get to them, and especially Remembrance Day ceremonies. We want to really cover that. Yeah, as many as we can.
All right, I appreciate your time, Ian. One more question. Now, you're not originally from the Flagstaff region, but you do make your home here in Sedgwick. So, what does living in the Flagstaff area mean to you?
Well, first of all, if you're in the area here, if you even just go a little bit east of here, not too far, and it's still in Flagstaff, it's very much like the lowlands of Scotland.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, the terrain in spots is fabulously like that sort of thing. But the
rolling hills.
The rolling hills.
Around Hardesty.
And some of the trees in that Hardesty area.
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much like the lowlands of Scotland.
Huh.
Very interesting. But we like this Flagstaff. The people are so friendly here. There's opportunities for if you're interested in any sort of thing. There's space. There's area here, and it's quiet. Wonderful place to live and with family, and really enjoy this area for those reasons. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. Well said, Ian. So don't forget, Robbie Burns Night is Saturday, January 27th at the Killam Community Hall. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. Dinner is set for 6, and the dance starts at 9. Don't you dare miss it. Well, thank you, Ian, for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with me. It's been a pleasure having you on the Flagstaff County Podcast.
It's really been my pleasure, Cary. We appreciate what the County of Flagstaff's doing for our group. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All the best.